Hi, hello, I'm Sugar. Here's my guide to Normal and Heroic, the Forgotten Experiments. We'll face 3 bosses, each with their own phase. It starts with Neldris, then Thandrion, and finally Rionthus. In both difficulties, only one boss is active at a time, and its defeat starts the next phase. Heroes should be used when the second boss, Thandrion, activates because his abilities are the most challenging. In every phase of the fight, tanks will encounter the same mechanic, Infused Strikes and Infused Explosion. Infused Strikes melee attacks deal stacking arcane damage. These can be removed by touching another player afflicted by Infused Strikes. Doing so causes Infused Explosion that applies a 20-second dot and AoEs all players. Ideally, tanks should hold this for as long as possible to keep the damage on the raid manageable. Melee should be mindful of their position to not accidentally gain this debuff and cause an early explosion. The encounter begins with Neldris using Rending Charge, which targets several players and charges between them, leaving a 30-second bleed on each. To prevent additional players from being hit, designate a side of the room for these players to run to and line up. Healers should prioritize players with multiple stacks. Next, Neldris uses Massive Slam, a frontal cone attack that deals lethal damage to those hit. This can be dodged. Finally, she uses Bellowing Roar, which deals less damage to players who are farther away. Once Neldris is defeated, Thandrion's phase begins. He's the most deadly because of the Unstable Essence ability. This debuff inflicts increasing arcane damage over time on a target. To counter this, healers should dispel it at high stacks, but when they do, it spreads to a new target and leaves a 16-yard circle that explodes around the dispelled player. Anyone affected should move out of the raid group to be dispelled. In Heroic, it also leaves behind an Erratic Remnant that will damage the raid, so DPS should switch to this ad and tanks should drag the boss over. All these debuffs will persist into the next phase. Next, Violent Eruption AoEs the raid every second for 8 seconds. In Heroic, if any Erratic Remnants are left up during this, the raid will take extra AoE damage. Healers should rotate healing CDs here. Thandrion's last ability, Volatile Spew, deals lethal damage to anyone in 7 yards of the impact locations. When Rionthus activates, he'll devastate the chamber with Deep Breath, flying across the laboratory twice, spewing lethal molten cinders on players in his path. During testing, he only flew vertically down the center, right, or left of the room. Temporal Anamoly creates an orb of energy that moves toward Rionthus. If the orb collides with him, he gains a shield that absorbs damage equal to 10% of his max HP. To prevent this, a player should collide with the orb. It will inflict arcane damage and knock them away. His last ability, Disintegrate, blasts players with blue magic, inflicting damage over time and slowing affected players, as well as doing damage to anyone within 5 yards of them. Give these players room to spread out and avoid crowding near other mechanics. That covers all the fight's mechanics. Here's my TLDR. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye!